Welcome to the next one. Here we're going to dive into our Google Keep Getting Things Done system, and we're going to look specifically at waiting for, agendas, calendar, and adding due dates or due by dates to other items throughout the system. So let's talk about that. Let's begin with waiting for. Waiting for is where you put items you're waiting for somebody else to do. There's really just three elements to any waiting for entry. There's when, there's who, and there's what. It's not supposed to be complicated. And I think it's best to keep it in, what would that be? Ascending order. And so if on the 12th I had called the mechanic and they were going to call me back, if something happens on the 13th, I'm going to put it here. Who and what. So that goes through just like that. Let's do a real live example of using the waiting for. So I'm going to go to my next actions, and let's say I was here and I go, oh, it's a great time. Let's text Jennifer about the birthday party. So I grab my phone, I write up a nice text with a handful of questions, and I send it off. Boom, I've done it. I've sent the text message. It's complete. I then go to waiting for, and I'm going to say, let's just say it is 0313. Jennifer, details on birthday party plans. I'm waiting for that now. That's great. And then I go, look, today's the 13th. I'm also still waiting to hear back from my mechanic. So maybe I decide, one day, not a big deal. But maybe when it's been 3 days or a whole week, I go, I really need to talk to that mechanic. What's going on? I need to get that oil change. So that's the waiting for. It's not supposed to be complex. It's supposed to be very simple so that you remember, you send stuff out there to other people. Remember, what did I send? When did I send it? What am I asking them for? And you can just, at a glance, see what's going on. Now we're going to move to agendas. I love agendas. Agendas are so great. There are two types of agendas. Type number one is what we see right here. You have a meeting or an appointment or something that's bound to a date. I'll do this for classes. If I'm taking a class, there's maybe reading to do in advance. So I'll create an agenda for the class. And while I'm doing my reading, if a question pops up that I want to ask the professor on, I will note that down. So let's just add that. Let's say coming up, let's say at the end of the month, 3/26/2026, I have lecture on cultural something. I just call it the lecture on culture. That's good enough. Lecture on culture. Who knows what that lecture is going to be about? But I might have here some questions to ask. So that's what I'm going to do today, long time in advance, is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to create the agenda, and I'm going to take notes that I would like to see in front of me again when I sit down in my seat ready for the lecture to take place. Next thing I'm going to do, though, there's a second kind of agenda, and that's not event-based or appointment-based. That's going to be person-based. So I always keep one for my wife. So if stuff pops up that I need to talk to her about, I have here. So I don't know, it might be kids' homework. Gotta talk about that. Dinner party. Gotta talk about that. I don't know, family vacation. Just items that next time I see her, I'm like, oh, I got a handful of things we gotta talk about. You got 5 minutes? And we can talk through them. Now, in this case, I don't want my person-based ones to get lost because I could get a lot of agendas in here. If you've got a busy life, it's easy to have a lot of agendas. So I like to pin anything that's person-based. So I've got one for my wife. I might also have one for my boss. Note. Note. Right, next time my boss is around, stuff we're going to talk about. I'm going to keep that pinned as well. Great. Those are quick capture notes, and I can bring them out. Sometimes, of course, if, let's say, you've got a list here, you're like, it's like my boss is just like never around. He's so busy. The only way we're going to talk is if I put an appointment on the calendar. So, really simple. Secure time on his calendar for maybe a Zoom meeting, and then I'll convert this into a regular appointment. Oh, and I forgot to put my symbol on there, but 03 15 2026 meeting with the boss. There we go. I don't need it pinned anymore. Let's go on there. Wife, let's put our hashtag. Bam. Cool. Okay. So now I've got an agenda that's coming together. My recommendation is if you're following GTD and doing the weekly review, in that review, I pull up all my calendars. I got a personal calendar and 2 work calendars, and I create an agenda for any appointment on those calendars for the next 2 weeks. Even if there's nothing to write down about them right now, I want a note created so that if I'm going about my day, I love to use the example, I'm washing the dishes at the end of the day, and something comes to my mind of, hey, make sure you ask this person about that in this meeting next week. It's so nice to have an agenda note already created that I can just, boom, put it right in there. Done. It's out of my mind. It's in the right place. I can get back to washing the dishes and probably watching a YouTube video. That's often what I do when I'm washing the dishes. Okay, that's agendas. Next, we're going to move to the calendar. I love the calendar when it's used correctly. The first important thing is for the calendar, the way I do it, you can do it differently. I prefer to do 1 month. It's 1 note. You could do it differently by dividing it up by quarter. So 1 note is 3 months worth of items. You could divide it up by year. But I found 1 month seems to be really good. And it'll make sense why I say that here in just a minute. One important element is everything that's in the calendar label, every note here, should only include items that will happen in the future. For example, if I wrote something on here, let's say today is March 12th, and I come in here and I go, March 13th, I need to, I don't know, take out the trash. Say, every Friday, got to take out the trash. It's Friday. Then on the morning of the 13th, I'm either going to do it and just remove, once I complete it, just delete it off the calendar, or I'm going to take it from here and park it in a next action, home. I'm not going to leave it on my calendar if it's an item from the past. The calendar is only for items that I'm going to be reminded about in the future. And the future can go all the way out. You might have the next 10 years worth of months on here. And so, someone invites you to a wedding that's a year away. Well, you can put the appropriate reminder in the future when it's time to start planning for the logistics of getting to that wedding, whatever it is. I want to show you one other thing, though. Already you can see here in my calendar, these months are backward. And if you go into the agendas, these are all over the place. What's going on? The 15th, the 26th, the 18th, the 15th? How am I going to reorder? Like, you can't just click and drag. Google, what's going on? How do we fix this? There's one workaround that I found is useful enough to make Google Keep work better. And that's simply to use the Remind Me feature and go ahead and pick the same date. So this is the 15th. So I'm just going to make the same reminder here. Let's have it remind me in the morning. There we go. Easy enough. That's now associated with the date. Let's associate this with the date, the 26th. And make them all morning reminders for these. Pick a date and time. Was this the 18th? And then finally this one. And we'll just do the 15th again. There we go. Morning. It's a little extra step, but you'll see why that's valuable in just a second. Even though on this view, they're still all jumbled up. However, by doing reminders, I have told Google Keep when they're going to happen. We also want to do the same thing for our calendar. For a month, I like to keep it simple and just associate this with the first day of the month. So for March, ironically, I can't do March. I can't go into the past for a reminder, so I'll just do the day that it is right now. March 12th. Can't do the morning. So there we go. Oops. Oh my goodness. Let's try that again. Later today. Great. April. I'm going to pick April 1st. Right here. Save. Great. Now, what did that do for me? Well, some of you have already predicted it. Now, if I go to reminders, I have my agendas and my calendar in chronological order, especially if I switch to list view. Look at this! Oh, it's so nice. All of my agendas, one after the next. I know exactly when something is happening. So good. I can even create a new note from here, and I'll have to add the label myself. So I'll have to go here. Let's just do add label. We'll do calendar. And let's just go ahead and make May 2026 and change this to May 1st, 8 a.m. Save. Give it our proper color. And now that's in order. It's in the right place. Great. So ironically, you can find out what works for you. But I found that's great, is I'll hop into here and into here to do some work. But when it's really time to see like what's happening next for my agendas, I actually go to the reminders tab to see everything. Next item to do, literally to do, is the due date. What do you do with items that have due dates? Well, this is the solution straight out of Getting Things Done. It's not something I came up with. It's not more or less convenient than how it's done by lots and lots of people. Literally, you put the date on the end of an item if it has one. So let's start with a project. What's tax day? Let's say, in my case, is it April 14th? I don't know when it's actually due, but the due date is April 14th. I say this project needs to be completed by that day. Oil change. I don't know. The website, maybe I have, let's just say, hey, I've got a really big event coming up in Q4 that I'm expecting a lot of attention from my company. So I want the new website ready to go. So I might say by September, let's just say like September 25th is when that's the go live date I'm targeting for my new website. It needs to be all done by then. Then similarly, you can do that with these items where you say like return the library book. Well, it has a due date associated with it. March 20th, I need to have that returned by. So there we go. Every time I look at my errands list, which is probably at least once a day, I'm going to see, yep, it's the 12th, that's the 20th. I could do it today, I don't have to. There we go, maybe the downed branch. I want to get that done before the next yard waste pickup in my neighborhood. Maybe that's on the 19th. Whatever it is, see? Now, as I look at my lists now, I can delineate between what I need to do by a certain time and the other stuff, like there's no particular pressing date. But here's what's most important to remember about dates. Things go into projects when you are actively working on them right now. A next action indicates I could take this step right now. There's nothing I'm waiting on. However, some actions, they do need to be completed before a certain time. If there's an action that is to be taken in the future, it's going to go on the calendar. You don't need to think about it until that day comes around. Then you need to think about it. So don't mix up actions you can take right now with actions that you have to wait to take in the future. Makes sense? I hope it makes sense. Sorry, not here to answer that question. So oftentimes the way this is articulated is if it's a project, you would say it has a due date. It's a date, this is due, it has to be completed. Whereas the way I like to think about it for a next action is it has a due by date. I need to do this by this date. If I do it before then, that's fine. And then you can also do this if you wanted to on your waiting for. So, for example, the birthday party is on, let's say it's on mm, April 15th. I don't know, I'm picking up days. And so you're like, I need to know a week in advance. And so I need to know, let's say April 8th. Like, I really need to hear back from Jennifer before then. So I put a date on there to remind me that that's the case. Great. There you go. We've just covered the waiting for list, agendas, calendar, and due dates and due by dates. So thank you for sticking with me for that. We're getting to the fun part. Our GTD system is getting populated. It's getting colorful, which means it's also becoming more useful. Thanks for watching.